Hello everyone, Lord here, and welcome back to another Let's Play series. Today, we're taking a look at Dragon's Dogma, the PC version. Now, I have quite a lot to say about this game because I have played it before, but let's get right into it, and I will talk after we finish the cutscenes and such.
How dark it's gotten. Have you a light source?
Now, it has been about a year since I last played this on the PS3, so hopefully I do remember the controls.
It shows itself. A goblin!
Now this kind of intro section is completely scripted, so... And it doesn't matter if you've played the game before, haven't played the game before, you will always get this section explaining what exactly you're supposed to do.
Here. Arisen. Go and touch that stone.
Now there is character customization, customization of these guys, your companions, but all that comes after the tutorial section. This basically teaches you how to move around, kill basic enemies, and things like that. Honestly, I've always disliked this because I like making multiple characters, so having to go through this every time is kind of annoying. Even though it's not really that long, and it's definitely not difficult. There is a couple of things you can get here. I think there's a couple of like chests and stuff that you can get items from, but as far as I remember, you don't get to keep the items, so there's no real reason to go for them. Oh crap. I can't remember if there was falling damage in this game. Now, there is going to be a bit of a longer fighting section in a bit, so...
Lure them down and strike! Slay them before they can use their voice! Let's make use of these explosives. Let's hasten to the dragon's roost. Our goal is in view. Don't let them drag you off!
These harpies are some of the most annoying enemies you get to fight in the game, by the way. Just because they always fly right over you, so it's an absolute pain to get them down. Even as a ranger, it's really annoying.
Survivors, let's join them.
The worm awaits
in numbers, Arisen.
And yes, the NPCs always spam this much.
Ever ready as we advance.
That's one of the things I'm gonna talk about in a bit.
Treasure,
But with you, sir,
Arisen!
cannot
This
suffer the
way,
worm
sir!
to work any further atrocities.
camera angles are a bit weird, but it's to be expected since the climbing mechanic is pretty central to killing these monsters if you're a melee character. So as you can notice, the point of the way actually to kill these big monsters is to go for their weak points, and each of them has a different weak point. So obviously the Chimera has 3 heads, so the 3 heads are all weak points, with obviously the 2 heads I already defeated being the, you know, more vulnerable weak points, since they can be kind of sliced off or stopped, whereas the lion's head here cannot be stopped from doing its abilities. But to be fair, all it does is just leap around and attack anyway. It can be somewhat dangerous, but it's nowhere near as threatening. The goat does a kind of roar similar to that one that silences your casters, and the snake tail places that AoE poison you saw a bit earlier. Not really very challenging, but it's not supposed to be. It is the tutorial, again.
Now choose, flee, or step forth. Take hold of what lies beyond. Claim mastery over the eternal ring.
In case you're wondering, yeah, those color problems did occur in the console version as well. I have to admit, they occurred noticeably less, I think, but it could just be a matter of the game looking a lot better here, so they're more noticeable. Although, I don't think the cinematics got upscaled or anything. Rather, I think they got upscaled and not improving quality in any way. In fact, that might be why these graphic glitches are occurring now that I think about it. Not much talking in this cinematic, it's just a dragon eating a bunch of harpies and birds. Anyway, this is the actual start of the game. This is the first thing that, you know, signifies the start of the actual game after the tutorial. So, here's the character creator. Now, this will probably take me a while, so I may use the magic of skipping time. Right, I didn't want to mess too much with the character creator because I have been known to spend forever. So I just picked out one of the presets and went with the first random generic name I could think of. Yes, she does look somewhat manly. I'll get to why that is in a bit.
Hear ye, hear ye! The prophets have spoken, friends. The dragon's return is nigh. Join the honourable Duke's ranks and help us be rid of the fell beast. The day's come to lay down rod and reel and take up the sword.
It's the dragon! Get to the boat! For your lives, go! Pick a boat!
So the dragon we saw in the opening cinematic is apparently attacking our village. The game's story in the beginning is not exactly its strong point. Yeah, in case you haven't figured it out, you're not supposed to win this fight. You're supposed to sort of wail on him until he knocks you back. Unlike some of the Souls games, I don't think there's actually a way you can win this fight.
Io acquarata misquierait. Acquarata de Dio mi. Mi esquarota junto la Gregori, nestesta, nesti, mi esquarate et malaga.
That dragon has surgeon's hands. Being able to extract that heart without just piercing through your entire body with that huge nail. Pretty impressive. Or I guess it's a talon? Is it a talon? I'm not sure. I am awful at dragon anatomy.
Help me! She's still alive!
in the case that this is reminding you of that really old movie whose name I always forget, about a dragon taking your heart, yeah, it's pretty much like that.
If you want to face me, take up arms, newly arisen.
So, this is where the class choice comes in. Right, so we have... Right, okay. We have three choices of class. We have the kind of mage, the warrior, and the kind of rogue that is called a strider. So, on most of my original playthroughs, I went with strider, and it is a pretty great starting class, but just as a heads up, if you want to power game this, you have to pick either a warrior or a mage. And I'll explain why later when we get to the companions. But I'm going to go with a warrior. If I can properly click on it, right? I'm going to go with a fighter, rather. And then go for the two-handed specialization. I don't remember what it was called, but the specialization which uses two-handed weapons.
You say it left a glowing scar?
Yes, the wound has closed, and it seems the worst has passed, but her heart lies silent.
If you would face me. You are sure of this?
Yes,
Ill magic, the work of some curse. The whole world's already gone mad for fear of this dragon. Won't no good come of this. I must go see to the others, Kina. Tell me if aught changes here.
all right. You should be abed.
Right. I am a bit surprised they're not more freaked out about, you know, a dragon attacking you and you somehow surviving but not having a heartbeat. Anyway, the game's kind of officially started. We're after the tutorial, but there's still a bit of a ways to go until we are completely free to do what we want. I mean, we kind of can do what we want right now, but we don't have a lot of places to go or a lot of things to do unlocked to us. And you'll see why very soon.
That man you were speaking with, they come
Right.
from some... Not you... They... I'd wait... Why don't you take...
Kind of skipping through this since I know what it's going to tell me already. Hopefully you guys can still read those if you want to by pausing. Right, so enter the game's first pawn, was called Rook. Anyway, These are basically your companions throughout the game. You will have, as you might have noticed in the tutorial,
To the
a
encampment.
party of 4, that is to say you and 3 pawns. Now there is one specific thing, which is that one of those 3 pawns will be a lot more important than the other 2. And we'll talk about that in a bit. There's a lot of running in this game, so I'm gonna try to save all the talking for when we need to run around.
Careful! A goblin! Quite the fighter, eh? Did it! This looks interesting.
Right. The pawns will sometimes pick up items for you. Not always though, and you can't force them to pick up items, which is kind of annoying. So sometimes, since there is a weight limit in the game that you can see on the left there, since there is a weight limit, you kind of want the pawns to carry all your stuff that you are not using. And sometimes, you know, heavy stuff will drop and you want the pawns to pick it up and they will just refuse to do so. So you have to pick it up and then send it over to them, which is really annoying. But that's a pretty small gripe. There's actually a pretty funny way to make this kind of running faster. I'm not using the sprint here, but there is a funny way to make this go faster by kind of abusing a combination of 2 abilities.
I know the way, Master. Follow.
Well met, Arisen. We speak to you from across great Bray. Forgive this strange, this rift serves as it opens to the Arisen. If you would claim to be among the Arisen, very well. If you are a tireless...
Yeah, kind of one of those Dark Souls options of we're not really asking you a question, but you should probably choose yes or no.
A riftstone.
Search the area.
Power emanates from within.
Ah yes, and some of the quests are a bit vague. Not to say that this game is supposed to be played like a wiki game, you know, where you constantly check the wiki for answers and stuff, but there is a lot to figure out.
Alas, if you...
I'm trying to remember what the hell you have to do here. Oh, there we go.
Beast comes! Hurry! There may be prowling monsters about.
So the game gave you a pretty good tip right there, which is if monsters seem too much, don't be afraid to run away. There will be a lot of times you need to run away in this game. So one of the simpler enemies in the game, the Cyclops, I'm gonna give you 3 guesses as to where his weak spot is. Don't worry if you can't see anything, that's normal. Yeah, climbing and the controls for climbing are a bit awkward until you get certain items which make you climb faster. Probably shouldn't have even bothered climbing him. He looked like he was very injured. Foreshadowing.
Let us return to the encampment.
Let's see if there's anything to loot first. Not really, okay.